Oh my god, how do I woo wee woo Wednesdays, man. What can I say? Wednesdays do be built are is a little different than the other ones, isn't it? Listen, it just feels weird when you come home, take a nap, wake up. It's like a different world. No, seriously, you guys must have felt this. Like, you come home from a day, whatever, you've been like either playing outside, working outside, going to school, you take a nap, and then you wake up around dinner time, and like the world just doesn't seem real for a split second, minute, hour. For some people, it takes some people hours to come out of that weird daze. It's like, I can't even explain it to you. I know, like, you got the window slightly open, there's some slight breeze coming in. Wednesdays, man, like, you can't get this from Saturdays. You can't get this from the weekends. It has to be a day in the middle of the week where you've been out all day. You've done it twice, from Monday, Tuesday, and then there's 2 more days coming up in Thursdays and Fridays, and you're just damn smack in the middle. It hits you differently. Wednesdays, what a special day of the week. Yes, hangovers is kind of living on different reality worlds. No, it's not a hangover. It's not a hangover. It's, how do I even explain it? I'm sure you guys will get it when you get older. I'm sure you guys will get it when you get older. When you're like halfway to the grave, like myself, you start perceiving time and space a little differently. No, like, really. Have you guys ever heard of the theory of why we tend to have the illusion that years go by faster as you get older? You guys, Von Jolly, you mean lost of brain cells? No, bro. I'm talking about a phenomenon. Okay, I'm sure some of you must have heard this. So in chat, please, I know you guys probably are going to school, or you're like in the middle of your break and you don't want to think about sciencey school like BS, but I promise this will be a fun little thought experiment. Have you guys felt that time for you has been speeding up as you grow older? Have you guys felt that? Sugar Bob said, yes, as we get older, our perception of time speeds up. But why? Like, that's something that a lot of people have said. But why? Can anybody in chat think of this as a classroom, right? You don't need to raise your hand up. Just give a proper explanation, even if it takes you a while to type it out. I'll wait because I have an explanation that I heard from somewhere. Somebody said it. I think I watched a TED talk or something, and it was very impactful. It's like, wow, that's pretty damn cool. Is it because our brain is getting slower? Heno G7, I saw the same YouTube video, I think. Yeah, that it sticks with you, doesn't it? Like the concept, well, it's a theory. It's not like proven, but it's a theory and it makes a lot of sense. Priya says, it's because we have more things to do while time stays the same. That's actually very interesting too. Have you guys, yeah, because if you take the concept of when you do things that you enjoy, have you ever noticed when you're playing a game that you like, or when you're outside chilling, like having fun with friends, playing basketball, soccer, I'm sorry, football, right? Or, badminton, whatever, you're just having a lot of fun. Time seems to pass faster, and as we grow up, we start to do more things that we have control over, as opposed to being forced to do something our parents wants us to do, right? Like, oh, go play the piano, right? Oh, go mow the lawn, go do some chores. Those things you don't want to do, but you have very little control over what you can't do because our metabolism is getting slower. That one I don't know. I don't know how metabolism and time perception kind of mingles together, but no, there are no stupid answers, people. There are no stupid answers. Give it a shot. Let's think a little bit on this Wednesday, like afternoon, Thursday morning for you guys. Emilio Delgado says, because what we experience. In a way, yes. That's a partial. I'll give you half a point for that. Well, I'm out here giving points and grades about it, but so Yugen says, why does time seem to pass faster as we age? In a paper published this month, Professor Adrian Bejan presents an argument based on the physics of neural signal processing. Okay, I didn't read. I'll be honest. I didn't go that hard. Sharil says, because you know the routine you will do, you know how things would be. There's no joking around anymore. You have responsibility, life a tiny bit more serious. Now that's talking about like the reality of it, right? Like, but we're talking about the perception. Think about it like this. Time doesn't actually go faster on the weekends. I know. I know. It's like, but weekends just flies by, don't it? Like 2 days, like 2 days of the weekend just doesn't compare to Mondays and Tuesdays. I swear to God, Mondays and Tuesdays, time goes slower. Okay, another experiment is like, have you ever tried playing like Genshin for 10 minutes? You set a timer. Try to finish everything in 10 minutes. The timer will almost always go off before you can finish everything. And then try to sit in a corner, staring at a wall and counting to 10 minutes. I guarantee you that you staring at the wall will feel like hours as you're counting to 10 minutes. It's weird stuff, man. And I'm about to give you guys the answer that I saw, that I heard of. And I don't know if it's going to blow your minds, but it's going to actually make sense. At least it made a lot of sense for me. All right. Maybe I should bust out a Microsoft Paint. I might screw this up royally, or I might end up a genius. All right. I might screw this up very, very badly, or you guys might start seeing me as a genius. Okay. So we're on Microsoft Paint. Let's get chat in here just to see their incredible reactions. So I'll draw on this half. So I'll make sure to, so here is where chat is. So we're not going to go over here. I'm going to draw over here. All right. So chat, prepare your brains to be blown. So why does time seem to pass faster? Like, and it's incremental. It just gets faster and faster and faster. It doesn't make sense because I feel like time is going faster. But then my parents says, nah, bro, like you think time is going fast for you, but for us, it's even faster, right? It's crazy fast. So here's why. Because let's say you are 1 year old. You are 1 year old. Let's make this look like a 1. So when you're 1 year old, how much is 1 year to you? Now we're doing some very basic fractions. When you're 1 year old, there's not a trick question, people. How long is 1 year to you when you are 1 year old? Please. Somebody, give me the fraction. Give me the fraction. Chat, please. Please, this is the time to be Gigabrain. What? 100%. Yes, Sassy Squad, 100%. So another way to write that is 1/1. That's how long 1 year is. Yes, 1 year, when you're 1 year old, 1 year is your entire life, right? That's 1/1. That's 100% of your life. That's 1 year. That's how you perceive 1 year. Think about that. Your entire life within 1 year. Of course, that 1 year is going to feel very long because your perception of time has just begun. It's been your entirety, 1 year. Now, let's try this again. What about 10 years? How long is 1 year when you're 10 years old? How long is 1 year? Same question. Right? If 1 year in your life when you were 1 is 1/1. So, exactly. The year doesn't change, but it takes up 1/10 of your life now. Okay. So now let's try when you are 20 years old. Right? When you're 20 years old, it's 1 year over 20. So, what ends up happening, people, as you continue to get older, let's say you are 50 years old, what ends up happening? 1 year now only takes up 1/50th of your entire experience, people. That's why the time seems to pass faster for you. It's crazy. Because perceptually, 1 year starts to take up less and less of your total years of experience. So, of course, years are going to seemingly pass by faster because they, mathematically speaking, they take up incrementally smaller portions of your overall experience. So that's why as you get older, it goes in increments, right? Like it goes, like it's a, like you can probably graph this, like on a linear graph. It's a linear graph, people. It goes up like that. That's why your perception of time seems, okay, I don't know if it's like truly a linear graph. Wait a minute. No, wait. I'm trolling. Wait, it's not a linear graph, is it? Because if we're putting time here, time is always 1, right? But your age keeps getting. Is it like that? It looks like that. Yeah, it's not linear. It's like this. It's like a flat line. But what this represents is that time is not actually getting faster. It's just you're getting older. This graph just shows you getting older. Right? Like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'm sure there's a graph somewhere that you can plot this in a linear graph. But time doesn't actually get faster. You just get older. But your perception, your perception of time gets, like, your perception of time changes. It's about perspective at the end of the day. It's just perspective. Go ask anyone older than you. I swear to them, 1 year passes much faster than to you. It's like the older you ask a 7-year-old, 1 year seems to pass by just like that because 1 year now is 1/70th of their life. For you, let's say you're in your 20s, it's 1/20th. It's going to feel like it passes by much faster than somebody who's a teenager who's like 1/10th. I got some food coming. Mmm. Okay, you gotta bring the food closer so I don't look like I'm sucking a dick off screen. I just looked at myself going like this. Oh, that's good. Hmm. Hmm. What is this? Oh, that's good stuff. Hey, what's that? Is that for me? Looks like it was not for me. Can I dip this in the curry? Huh, huh. So, chat, if somebody just randomly comes in, they will be so lost. Mm. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. Wow. Oh, I'm so lost right now. Yeah, let me change the scene. So, that's what I'm saying. I mean, people, my time just flies by. To me, probably 1 year feels like twice as fast to you guys. Hmm. Walrus, when meme review? That's a good question. That's a good question. Are we switching? Okay. Okay. AJ wants to start up that question again. Doesn't AJ? How old am I? Chat, how old am I? No, really. Same age as Zhongli. I'm not gonna lie, people. I've won probably at this point over $1,000 just betting with people on how old I am. I'm not a single person has ever gotten it right. No, it's not over 9,000. It's not that crazy. But but I just don't look my age. No, really. I just don't. Yeah, I'm older. I'm older than 50. Hey, how about it? Older than 50, younger than younger than 60. I'll give you guys that. I'll admit it. I don't look my age. I don't. It's not fair. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. If you guys looked like me, you probably would make bets like me too. NOG says, I'm Asian too. I think we're around the same age. Can't sympathize. Yeah. Can you guys... Okay. It might be crazy to think about, but it's really annoying when you have to deal with it. Can you guys imagine still getting ID checked when you're in your 50s? Can you guys just imagine that for a second? You're still getting ID checked. It's crazy. Kaz Racken says, yeah, most people who meet me think I am in my 40s, but I retired back in 09. What a time to get out of the workforce. Am I right? Well, if you were from the States, that was one hell of a ride back in 08, 09. Those times are coming back though. Get ready. Yeah. People. Cash. Probably should hold on to some. Alright, just saying. What's your favorite place? What's your favorite boba place? Okay, here's the weird thing about me. We go to a lot of different places and we have different items on different boba places that we like. So we go to a certain place for fruity ones, we go to a certain place for milk ones, we go to a certain place for slushy ones. It's all different because for some reason they seem to specialize in different types of boba. They just can't get them all perfectly. Von Jolly says, so in other words, basically Walrus is considered as a legal lolly. Yeah, in a way. As over 50, if you keep lying about being over 50 when you actually hit 50, that karma's gonna be a bitch. Listen, man, I wish. Listen, I wish I could be in my 20s again with my knowledge right now. Maybe could have changed the world. Maybe, but too late for me. Too late for me. Hmm. AJ with the 499. Everyone in the Genshin community should listen to you because you got a lot of wisdom. I thought you were 23. Listen, here's the thing about what's special going on here. I think if we got another 300 to 400 people in this chat, I wouldn't be able to communicate with you guys the same way.
Damn, that's hot. Everyone in the Genshin community should listen to you because you got a lot of wisdom. I thought you were 23. Lol.
So, Huangle, welcome. So Huangle, we got caught in the whole age conversation again. So we'll be pulling a Zhao winner, Huangle, on Saturday. So this weekend, I'm pulling a winner to win the Zhao. And Huangle, while we have you here, there has been, let's just put it this way.
Hongler just applied wet status. Damn, that's hot. Hello Walrus and chat. Starstruck.
Huangle, there has been, how should I put this? A fierce request put forward by people saying, will you please allow them to choose between Yellen and Zhao? Now, that is your choice to make. I am... This gets how old I am. Listen, chat. Alright, before you guys start typing numbers on a screen, listen. If you guys ever want to make ladies happy, always lowball it.
Status. Damn, that's hot. Guess how old I am. Tears of joy.
You see, Super W McBoods. Bro, listen. Sasquatch, that's too low. Sasquatch, that makes you seem sus. Alright? Yo, Alvis! Delete that! Alvis! No! Not that low. Oh! Well, listen. Chat. Allow me to demonstrate. Like, Huangle, there is no way you are older than 20. There's no way. I refuse to believe it. She's 8. Yo, somebody called the FBI. You're going away for a long time, buddy. You're going away for a long time. Don't you think they should add a new floor in Biz? Debanyan, I remember, I think I responded to your comment on YouTube, right? Ray0403, thank you for the donations. Wait, Debanyan, didn't I answer that in a YouTube comment? So I also made a YouTube video talking about this. One moment. Let me get another bite. Alright. Huangle has spoken. She is okay for the winner of the Saturday giveaway to choose between Zhao and Yellen.
Sussy Hongler just applied wet status. Damn, that's hot. I'm okay with either CO or Yellen. Tears of joy.
Colin says, I love the comment that I'm 8 because I wish I'm 8. Okay, here's a question for you, Huangle. Do you wish, like, if you had the chance to go back to when you were 8, but with your current, like, maturity, knowledge, and whatnot, but here's a catch: you cannot use, like, the knowledge of the future to impact the time, like your timeline. So you can't buy Bitcoin when in 2012 or 2010. All right, that's banned. You can't, like, win lottery tickets. That's banned. You can't do it. So would you still go back? But as long as it doesn't change your financial situation drastically. Honda says, I'm just gonna become a K-pop idol. Just go hard and, like, start training from a young age. Piggy256 says, I have a question. What if the person who wins already has Zhao but wants the weapon? Unfortunately, the weapon banner is a different beast. Those are usually two different giveaways. I don't think the weapon is up for offers. Guaranteeing the weapon can cost like $300-400. But can I get a C1 like that? Yeah, you can get a C1. If you already have Zhao C0, you want a C1, you can get a C1. If you have a Yellen C0 and you want her C1, you can choose to get a C1. No problem. Paul says, to answer my age, I'm closer to 30 than 20. Cap. That's cap. That's cap. She looks 18. Haynes is getting it.
Sussy Hongler just applied wet status. Damn, that's hot. To answer my age, I'm closer to 30 than 20 tears of joy.
Well, time just starts speeding up, doesn't it? Watch chat. Watch me work my graph. Watch me work the math we did earlier into this. Right, Huanglei? Time just goes off the rails once you pass your mid-20s, doesn't it? Well, as I remember, I went to tutor at a middle school and they thought I was a student. I got yelled at too. I could look, okay. I could probably go to any middle school or high school and I could probably slap on a uniform or something and just blend in. Shane Dobkins says a lot of agents look really young until the moment they look really old. Like, yeah, we kind of skip the middle age, right? We skip our 30s and 40s and we go straight, like 30, 40, 60s don't really exist for some of us, and we go straight to 60, 70, 80. Yeah. It's true. Not all of us, but some of us. We have that weird gene. Have you seen that cartoon of how Asians age? It's so true. Yeah. Like the girl, right? Like she starts from like young, go up, grow, and like in her 30s, 40s, 50s, she pretty much looks the same. She just has a little bit of like a little bit of wrinkles here and there, very little. And then when she's like turning 70, 80, like bam, she just turns into this like little woman. It's crazy. COVID didn't really make me feel like I aged. I just feel more back pain and the gas price looking like my GPA. No, but I'm okay. Like I swapped to electric earlier this year. I finally made the move. I thought about it for a long time, but you know, ever since I moved back in November, I thought about it because I am so far away, people. Like listen, my roommate, trust, no cap, my roommate spends like $400 to $500 just getting to and from work every month. $400 to $500. The dollars. One tank of gas for that man is like $125. Excuse me? You know how many summons I can get with that? Yeah, not gonna be me. I spend about $100 on electricity every month. You're welcome. You're welcome. Boris, I'd say is my age, and that's my guess, maybe slightly older. I'd say I say Huanglei is not a day older than 20. That's the hill I'm dying on. Yep. With my full gas tank now, I could have gotten at least 8 cups of boba. A tiny meow says, what is he driving? A Hummer? A tank? He drives a BMW. So yeah, it's one of those luxury gasoline vehicles. You can't use the cheap gas, so he ends up paying the premium, which is not very friendly. I mean, the guy drives a BMW, right? It's not like he's hurting for money. Right, Beluga-chan? Ah. Can I put this over here? Well, I'm back. Any signs of it going down? No, Canes. In fact, there are signs of it going up. I think, Hole, how much is gas where you are? Right now, where I am, it's around like $2.36 per liter. That is astronomical. And that's for the cheap shite. For the cheap stuff. For the 87. Right? If you want the 91, you want the 93, it just keeps going up from there. Gas prices have no signs of coming down anytime soon. 4.3 where I live. Bro, what? Where do you live? Wait, no, what first? What currency? What currency? Here it's 1.7 in yeah, US is still cheaper. US is still cheaper. In Canada, it's pretty absurd. $6 per gallon. PA dollars. What's PA dollars? Oh, like the state of PA. What's the state of PA? PA. Pennsylvania? Beluga-chan is saying Pennsylvania. I was thinking Philadelphia. Oh, it is Pennsylvania. Okay, okay. It is Pennsylvania. Panama? Holly says, and my car is a good mileage car too, and it still costs like $45 for a full tank of 13 gallons. That's crazy. That's crazy. Your gas price probably went up like from what, 30 to 45? That's like a 33% increase. Can you guys imagine if Genshin did a 33% increase for the cost of everything in game? There will be literal riots. That's crazy how things can just shoot up like that. But in California, it's up to like $10 for what I heard. $10 for what? A liter? No. No way. Maybe a gallon. $10 per gallon, right? Right? 541 per gallon. Damn, you guys are still paying cheap. Do you guys calculate it with a gallon? So if it's per gallon here, oh, like it's around like What? Wait. Maybe 1 gallon to liter is it's 4.55 liters. Yeah, for me it's 10.74. $10.74 Canadian. 10.74 Canadian to US dollars. $8.55. That's how much it costs us over here in Canada. $8.55 US to fill up a gallon. That's crazy. No, like that's actually crazy. In VN, we use liters, so I tend to do both. Where is VN? VN. Beluga-chan, what state is VN? Venezuela. Virginia. Virginia, she says. I don't think so. Vietnam. Got him. Vietnam. Venezuela. Yeah, Vietnam. Vietnam. Yeah, it's not going to slow down. They anticipate prices to keep going up. I'm sure you guys aren't interested in the economy of all this, but it's because of it's really because of interests. Well, not interests. It's because of inflation due to the government printing too much money. And of course, the war in Russia also affects it as well. It's numerous factors, but it's tough times. Really, it's really tough times. In Malaysia, I think it's $1.77 USD per gallon. What the hell are the cats doing? Money printing is never the solution. Look at Argentina. Yeah, that's why the interest rates are rising, right? It's really gonna be dark times ahead of us, people. Dark times ahead of us. Yeah, that's why I swapped to electric. I can't be dealing with all this stuff. I can't be dealing with this. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to wake up fearing that, gas prices is so volatile that it makes Bitcoin charts look like stock charts. I can't wake up one day and be like, this just in, gas prices doubled. No. Yeah. Swap to Electro. That's why Electro, right? In-game, Electro, superior element. Guys, summon for Raiden. She can power your transport. Electro is superior. Just saying. Why can't we just like turn into like ice mist in the real world and just traverse terrain like this? Why can't we do that? That'll save so much money, no? Well, I guess with my stamina bar, no cap, with my real life stamina bar, this is as far as I will probably get before I'm out of stamina. Check this out, people. Hey, you better not blink. Oh, there you go. That's it. That's all my stamina for the next 2 miles. I'm walking. This will be me for the next 2 miles after that quick dash. Oh, no, that's it. That's all the stamina I got. Back to walking. Like, don't kid yourselves. We think if we had this ability in real life, it still costs stamina. 90% of the people in chat probably won't make it to those staircases before like sweating a bucket. Yeah, look. The chat's gonna make it mostly to that sign, and we're done. We're out. We tap out. Remember, Ayaka is in peak physical condition. This lady, all right, this lady has been training her whole life in the way of the blade and jutsus. You can't compete. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness, that stamina. For someone who mostly uses elemental comps, would you recommend Yellen or Kazuha? Kazuha most likely is going to fit you better. If you... Okay, so chat. Entertain me for a second here, alright? Entertain this idea. Actually, don't tell me if you look at leaks or not, just answer this question. Do you think Anemo Geo will have reactions with Dendro? Answer me that question. It doesn't matter if you look at leaks or not. I don't even know if leaks talks about this yet. But do you guys think Anemo and Geo will have a reaction with Dendro? No clue. The only right answer. So, if Anemo and Geo doesn't have reactions with Dendro, if they don't, they essentially form a nice little non-reaction trio, right? Like if not. So how is Kazuha ever going to fit into Dendro damage team? He's not. Well, wouldn't that make Yellen a much, much more enticing choice in Dendro teams? Hey, I'm just pushing the idea forward. That's all I'm saying. If Dendro does not react with Anemo, and if it doesn't react with Anemo, it likely won't react with Geo, there will be no place for Kazuha in any Dendro-based damage teams. Just saying. I'm just saying. If the Dendro Archon comes out or something, and you crunch the numbers like, damn, a Yellen in this team would be great. Wouldn't that be convenient for Hoyoverse? My god, wouldn't that make Hoyoverse feel so damn good? I'm just saying. It wouldn't be the first time they did something like that, all right? Not gonna be the first time, not gonna be the last time. I watch them just throw you another. Watch them wait like a year to rerun Yellen, just to mess with you. Just to mess with you. They released like what 3-4 duds of a character. No, not duds, but like just mediocre characters, like mid-tier characters in a row, and then they hit you with Yellen, like they did hit us with the Kazuha like they hit us with Kazuha for the Venti. We all thought, oh, we had Venti. Like, we don't need Kazuha. Sure, that patch we didn't. What about the patch after that? What about the next patch? What about the next patch? And you start to realize, I should have pulled for Kazuha. Should have pulled for Kazuha. Granted, Venti is not useless. There are specific scenarios and teams that Venti is very useful. And I don't think Kazuha is going to be useless, because I remember I said that Hoyoverse made a mistake with Venti. They did not repeat that mistake with Kazuha. So Kazuha will never fall out or fall as hard as Venti, but I made a video talking about this. No character can stay at the top forever. It's just the natural course. Kazuha has been dominating since patch 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6. 6 patches. 2.7. He's still dominating. Probably for 2.8. Maybe even 2.9 or 3.0, whatever you guys believe in. Maybe 3.1. And then slowly, as more team options come out and more Abyss leans more towards favoring Dendro teams, which it has to, right? More and more Dendro is going to come out. Of course, Hoyoverse is going to usher in a whole new era of, oh, use Dendro. Try to use Dendro. Dendro's going to be a lot better. And guess what happens when you prioritize Dendro and then Dendro doesn't react with a Nemo? Guess what? You're going to see Kazuha drop lower on the usage rate. It's normal. Maybe you'll have Kazuha in certain chambers. Who knows? We don't know. But that's all following the idea that a Nemo does not react with Dendro. If a Nemo reacts with Dendro, Kazuha is still going to be a 100% top tier unit. Right? Bash Toss has used up my Kazuha funds for Yellen and her weapon. I think I can still save enough for him, but getting Yoimiya will be hard for me. I don't think you need to worry too much about Yoimiya right now. Yellen and Kazuha are definitely top tier options. If you can save to get Kazuha, definitely that's probably the best thing for you to do. So for people who don't know, right now we're on Vashtosh's account. We're going to be doing an account review for him in a little bit here. But we can quickly take a look at the characters he's currently running with. So where is Yellen? So he does have Yellen and on Yoimiya Kazuha. Kazuha is definitely going to be a good pickup. Since you're running Ayaka, you already have Raiden Shogun. You have Ganyu, which works really well as well. And of course, Yamiko, Yellen works very well with all of these characters. Especially, I see you have a seemingly favored what's that called? A seemingly favored elemental teams. So it's here now. It says Yellen is top 5 best 5 stars in the game, in my opinion. I think Yellen could probably even make a run for top 3. Maybe 5 stars, not including 4 stars. She probably barely squeezes in to top 5 if you include 4 stars. Maybe, maybe not. What about Geo? What Dio Dog Blitz is asking question. What about Geo? Dio Dog. That must be a typo. That must be a typo. I can't read that. I think he's maybe asking, do you think Geo should have... Oh no, he's saying Geo should have 1 reaction with Dendro. Well, that's the thing, right? I don't know how much trust I'm gonna put in Hoyoverse, because I think they just want some elements to not react with other elements. I think Hoyoverse just wants certain reactions to not react with each other. Iza Sharils is asking, should I try to get Yellen right now or just save for Kazuha? Help, I can't choose. Huanglei says, bye Walrus and chat, work tomorrow. Bye Huanglei, we'll see you on Saturday. Hopefully you'll be around for Saturday to see who ends up winning your giveaway. Alright? I'll see you on Saturday. Hopefully. No promises. Fingers crossed. Hope she comes. Hope she blesses us with the summons. Wait, Geo doesn't react crystallized with Anemo. Nope.
Damn, that's hot. Bye Walrus and chat. Work tomorrow. Loudly crying smiling face with hearts.
I love how they just read out the thing. Yeah, Geo has no reaction with the Nemo. Zero. Zip. No reaction. Pray is asking how to join giveaway. So you can join the giveaway by just showing up, making sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, showing up on Saturday's live stream like you are right now. Same time, pretty much. Show up exactly this time on Saturday. Make sure you're subscribed, and that's it. And I'll give you the instructions on Saturday. You have to be present, though. What's the most broken C6 in the game? Currently the most broken C6 in the game. Yellen is pretty broken. Yellen C6 is pretty broken. Her C6 is built different. What can I say? Apart from Yellen C6 right now, what else C6 is broken? Like, we really have to think that's like not balanced with what's currently. Okay, you guys might flame me for this, but I think Yoimiya C6 is pretty messed up. Yoimiya C6, along with Yellen now, along with Yunjin, it's kind of messed up. This character. So during this, she has an extra 50% firing, extra blazing arrow that deals 60% of this damage is considered normal attack damage. So dropping the chopsticks. So this in combination with Yunjin, in combination with the new artifact set that she could use, is actually pretty crazy. Like, I don't enjoy how much Yoimiya gets from like high constellations. Like, if you look at the new artifact set, I don't know if this I don't know if Vash has farmed the new artifact set. This one. When normal attack hits opponents, there's a 36% that it will trigger Valley Bright, which it will increase normal attack damage by 70% of attack. Imagine this with Yoimiya C6, with Yunjin, with C6, not C6, well, maybe even a C0. With a C0 Yellen buff as well. On top of that, a Zhongli shield. Like, she would be hitting for 100, like, she'll be hitting for probably like 160, 170,000 auto attacks. She's auto attacking Raiden burst hits, is what I'm saying. Can you guys imagine that for a second? Some firework girl from Inazuma is literally bowing and shooting at like 3-4 arrows per second, 100,000 hits. Is that not broken? Is she not broken at C6 with Yunjin, with Zhongli, with Yellen? Because a C0 Yoimiya can hit 100k people with Yellen, and like with the team I just said, like it can hit 100k. That's C0 with like random ass artifacts. Can you imagine a properly built Yoimiya at C6, even if she's running an R1 weapon? Right, she can run her, but it has to be her signature weapon. R1, C6 with the team I just mentioned. Talent level probably crowned. I don't know. I was like, for reference to you guys, my the account that I tested Yellen with, the Yoimiya was, I believe, running a two-piece set. She wasn't even running a 4-piece set, and with Yellen, she got up to 86,000. 86,000. I don't remember if we had the signature weapon. It was Flowcat's account, but it was crazy, people. Like, the amount of scaling. We weren't using the artifact. She wasn't C6, and Yellen wasn't fully built up either. And I don't remember the Zhongli. I don't think his Zhongli had the millilith set. There was so much more. That we were probably at like half efficiency, maybe like 60% efficiency. So it's crazy. And Yoimiya, taking the viruses here. Okay, so Hu Tao can go beyond each charge attack and even beyond with Yellen. So the thing with between Hu Tao and Yoimiya is that as Yoimiya climbs higher in constellation, her single target damage outperforms Hu Tao's. When Yoimiya is at C6, her single target damage is better than Hu Tao's. But Hu Tao gets access to that level of power much earlier. At C0, she's already incredibly powerful. You can hit easily over 100k with Hu Tao, even at C0, right? C1 makes it easier to consistently charge attack without depleting the stamina. But the thing with Yoimiya is, as she ramps up to C6, that character just becomes unfair, in my opinion. C6 Yoimiya, I don't know how many of you guys have ever seen a properly built, like kitted out C6 Yoimiya. That thing is, it's kind of like a minigun, you know, like a Gatling gun. Kind of scary. So in my opinion, I think the character that changes the most from their base is probably C6 Yoimiya. But the thing is, she is a pyro damage unit, so what ends up happening is like there's some content that she's kind of locked out of. But a bow user also ends up having to rely on the auto targeting system designed by HoYoverse, which feels kind of bad. C4 Ayaka will shred defense, apply cryo, and do damage alongside boosting the entire team's damage, not just her damage. Yeah. See, I would say C4 Ayaka is good. C4 Ayaka is good. Very, very helpful. When it comes to like, because I don't want to go for a constellation just because the constellation is good. I want to go for a constellation if it gives me a transformative experience of playing a certain character. And I think Yoimiya has a very simple problem in her kit, is that at C0, she just seemingly doesn't do enough damage. And she doesn't really leverage her attack speed as much. But with her C6, there's a chance to fire an additional arrow. And with the new artifact set echoing, right? The echoing artifact, the chances of it's always percentage chance whenever you land a normal attack. And with her attack speed, the rate of her attack speed, it really leans into her kit very, very well. Ito C6 is really good as well. Like Ito C6, ooh, that C6 is also something pretty wonky. It's here now. It says Yamiko is going to get better when Sumeru comes. Yeah, that's what I was saying as well. I think overall Electro just has to somehow get better, and Yamiko should be getting her artifact set. Tech Device says Yoimiya just isn't able to vape all her. Yeah, she vapes the first, third, and last hit, and that last hit is what really matters. That last hit. And she cycles through it very easily. So what ends up happening when you play Yoimiya is that you can't really, unless you're really familiar with the auto-targeting range, you end up having to play like a mid to close range, depending on if you have Bennett on the team, right? If you feel like, oh no, I can't have Yellen and Yunjin on the team with Zhongli because then I have no healer. Fair point. What ends up happening is you have to bench either Zhongli or Yunjin. And I'd say in this case, probably going to have to end up benching Zhongli and bring in Bennett, which will hinder your ability to shield. So what ends up happening is you bench Zhongli and you put in Bennett, and then you're heavily relying on Yunjin's Crystallize to provide the shielding necessary for her to get through multiple rotations of her normal attack sequence. Right. So it's definitely a trickier way to play Yoimiya. Preferably, you would just want to have Zhongli shield and not worry about anything and just go do your thing. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case if you want to play a higher damage ceiling team with Yellen. So Yellen essentially in this case is going to knock out Zhongli. So what ends up happening is you lose the double geo buff from Zhongli Yunjin previously. I think if you had Yunjin Zhongli and then you can choose not to use Bennett if you want to use Xingqiu previously, it could have maybe worked depending on what type of enemies you were fighting and how well built your Zhongli was. But now you see, like, we're getting to the point where people are starting to really fight for spots on a team. With only 4 characters on a team, you really have to be justified in being there. I hate fighting for spots. Yeah, but unfortunately, that's just the nature of the game now, and it's gonna get worse and worse. There are gonna be okay. You see, here's a scenario for you guys. Give it another like 2 years or so. There's gonna be so many characters that the best team can consist of 4 characters. But let's say there's one character that could be interchanged with certain units on a team, which still is good but not as good. Let's say there's like a 5% damage loss. Suddenly this character, like we're just using Raiden for an example, okay? Suddenly this character, let's say on this team you lose a 5%, on that team you lose 3%, on that team you lose 2%. But this character isn't by any means bad. It's a great option. It's just it's not the definitive best option in any of these select teams. Maybe they'll have like one team to themselves, but everybody's going to kind of slot into certain places, and it's going to be such a fierce fight for who gets to be on what team that there's going to be a lot of characters just sitting around not being utilized. Even free-to-plays will have like probably 2 or more 5 stars just sitting around. Just sitting around, not being able to fit into any team. They're level 90. They have their own artifact set. They even have a great weapon they could use. They just don't have any teams that you can use them in. And one way to combat this is creating more game modes. Ian says, "Oh, Walrus don't have Kokomi." No, this isn't my account. This is we're gonna be doing an account review here in a bit. So yeah, expect in 2 to 3 years you're gonna like if you continue to build your account horizontally in 2 to 3 years from now. Which, hey, remember this, people, remember this. Remember this. In 2 to 3 years, perspective, people. You guys might think 2 to 3 years. Who knows where I'll be in 2 to 3 years? Let me tell you, 2 to 3 years can really sneak up on you out of nowhere. All right, remember this perspective. We did this in the beginning. 2 to 3 years, you could easily end up in a situation where you have 5 stars that you've heavily invested into that you struggle to put into certain teams. Geoboat says, is the giveaway on Saturday? Yep, the giveaway for... Oh, if you just came, Geoboat, the giveaway is now for both Yellen and Zhao. You get to choose between the two. The winner chooses between the two. Okay, that's going to be happening this time on Saturday. So, 3 days from now, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, 3 days from now. 3 days, 72 hours. Is this 72 hours? Yeah, 72 hours. Exactly, from this moment. You can start a countdown. Wuthering Waves is hopefully where I'll be in 2 to 3 years. So many competitions is starting to now show demos and trailers. You can tell these people started working on these projects months after Genshin's release, because they suddenly realized like, wow, like, you know, there's a huge market for this. We can now drop serious money into these projects to try to compete. What beats another region's character? Someone from Liyue, as always. Yeah, Liyue characters are truly built different, and that is no cap. That is because Hoyoverse wills it. Yellen is the new best character in the game. Yeah, I think Yellen should be slotted into an S tier ranking. After continuously testing her, pushing her limits in so many different teams variations. I do think it's pretty safe to say that she is going to be categorized as an S tier character. If you use Chinese tier list, she will be categorized as a T0 character. I'm pretty sure she will be. This will be a T0 character on many people's tier lists. I'd say 80% of the people making content for the game is going to rate her at T0, which is S tier, like top tier, in the same tier as Kazuha, Raiden Shogun, Bennett, Xingqiu, all those people. They're gonna rate her in that tier. Like the advice that Shenhe is from Liyue, she's not that great. I think Shenhe doesn't really stack up to Kazuha and Yellen levels of insane. She's definitely a whale unit though. That unit was designed for whales because cryo teams has this thing going on because they can't really bring Bennett. The ideal cryo freeze teams, they don't bring Bennett, so they need someone else to buff their damage. That's why they have Shenhe. Shenhe is there to fill the role of a Bennett, fill the role of, right, I guess nowadays even Yellen. But now it's crazy because Yellen can easily fit into a freeze team. If you wanted to, Yellen could be in an Ayaka freeze team. Yellen could be in a Ganyu freeze. Ganyu could be the support to a Yellen freeze team. Yellen could be the on-field hydro carry, right, with Ganyu in the back just applying the cryo. Similar concept to how you would run an Ayato Ganyu team. Which characters benefit the most from Yellen buff? Yoimiya. Yoimiya is a huge benefactor from the buff. In a way, you could say Eula teams could benefit too. Eula's burst gives her resistance, so I mean not like immunity, but resistance to stagger. Raiden Shogun is borderline immune to stagger in her burst state, so you can run a Eula, Raiden, Bennett, Yellen team, and that team would have a much higher damage ceiling compared to if the last slot was someone like Zhongli. So physical teams definitely can benefit from this character. What else? I mean, all teams can benefit from her. It's just sometimes you would probably prefer to have Kazuha still in most elemental teams. But there's a ton of teams that can make her great. I mean, she can make them great, even better. Yeah, Shenhe is niche only for free team. Yellen is like Kazuha for every team, a big benefit. Yeah, Yellen has a much more universal buff. This is what you see, having her be able to buff damage dealt. That's a crazy buff. Like, why damage dealt? Why did they give her such a universal? Like, that could have been anything, man. That could have been hydro damage. That could have been like elemental damage. That could have been anything. That could have been like buff their HP percentage, buff their attack percentage. Why did they choose something as universal as damage dealt? There has to be a reason. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm talking about, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, right? The specific choice, the active choice, because Hoyoverse isn't stupid. The dev team isn't like, that dumb. They specifically chose this because without this, she falls down far, like she falls down a lot. Her single biggest, I think, strength is in how universal this buff is. Sure, she's not the best in certain teams. Kazuha still outperforms her in many metrics, but you have to make it that way. If she just comes in and is better than Kazuha in every single team she is in, that is power creep. That is insane power creep. That is power creep on levels that we've never seen. So of course they can't do that. So I think this is a great addition. Overall, in Kazuha excel, like teams that Kazuha still excel in, Kazuha outperforms her by over like 15% in damage boosting, maybe even more than that. So it's fair. I think she's in a good spot. I think she's in a really good spot. I think characters in the future should aim for somewhere around Yellen, maybe a little less, and you'll have very good characters every single patch. That passive is broken. Yeah, it's pretty broken. It's so universal. Very comfortable to use. Can swap between different characters. And that's why I keep saying, when you're playing Yellen, there's a lot of emphasis on rotation, right? Let's say you use her burst skill. Who comes afterwards? Who's next? Because the second you activated her burst skill, that ramping buff is starting to happen. So who's next? Do you use, let's say, Bennett's burst first? But if you use Bennett's burst, then go into Yellen's burst, you end up in a situation where you are eating up precious time on Bennett's burst. So for example, you probably would always start with Yellen, right? Maybe a charge shot, bam, shoot a charge shot, use her burst, maybe swap to Bennett, right? Go to Zhongli, use his burst, then go to Ayaka, use her elemental skill, and then her burst, and then charge attack to finish the rest of the battle. Because by the time Ayaka is on field, that ramping buff is just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. And, or do you switch to Ayaka and go to do 2 charge attacks and then use her burst? I don't know, right? Because you want to take advantage of the entirety of her buff for your team. But you don't want to end up in a situation where the last couple ticks of Ayaka's buff, by then, her buff already disappeared. Then you lose out on damage too, right? Then you would have probably only, then you go back and experiment again. Maybe 1 charge attack, try again. Okay, now the last tick of Ayaka's burst doesn't get buffed. Well, I guess then it's just Ayaka burst first, then a charge attack later, because the damage loss from her charge attacks will be less than the damage loss from a tick of her burst. I'm just saying that's one team scenario where you're going to have to go in, properly figure out the rotations. And are you going to be able to rotate through that seamlessly every single time? How's your energy regen doing? How's, how's your Zhongli shield doing? Do you have C2? If you don't have C2, then maybe you only have time to use a hold E and you got to get the hell off because you don't have C2. Right? You don't have time to hold E and then do his burst. Then your Ayaka won't have enough time. That's the kind of thought process for all Yellen teams. And this is a very simple Yellen team. Very little you have to do. And there's also the questions like, what about Yellen? Right? You didn't use her elemental skill. You didn't find a time to slot in her elemental skill to regen some particles. What if she was using the sac bow? What if your Yellen's using a sacrificial bow and you have to do it twice? So what ends up happening is then you have to somehow fit 2 of Yellen's elemental skill into all this rotation to make sure it goes on, it goes on cooldown both for your bow and for your elemental skill. You guys see how weird this gets? The guide, I rarely find guide channels that will tell you the exact rotation because they cannot. Yellen's rotation changes on different teams. That's just one team due to how each of their skill interacts with each other and how important they are to the final combination of this team's success. You cannot take that and apply it to every single Yellen team. So with different Yellen teams, sometimes maybe Yellen will use her burst second. Right? Maybe. Right? Even in this team, let's see if Zhongli has C2. No, doesn't have C2. So in this team, Zhongli is going to lead the charge. Get that shield up, then switch to Yellen. Then use Yellen's burst. Then use her elemental skill. Then Bennett, burst. Then Ayaka. Right? That's what I'm saying. People need to take their characters and accounts and their teams and work out these intricacies. You cannot always rely on guides and people telling you how to play. But I think this is part of the beauty, right? I think Yellen gives you the flexibility and the versatility to pair different units and to create these different rotations of optimized damage sequences. It's a lot of fun, in my opinion. The HVK says, I don't have Kazuha and I'm planning on not getting Yellen at the moment, so I'm literally ruffle stomping the game without the 2 supposedly most broken units. I think that's by design, right? Hoyoverse don't ever want the game to feel like you're pressured to summon for really strong units. Yes, strong units exist in the game. You can curb stomp content even easier. You can see bigger numbers with your favorite character. That's all great, but those are all luxury. It's luxury goods. that they're selling here, right? It's not like, and I don't think it'll be a smart business move to ever make content that favors one character or a couple characters. Like, oh, without these characters you will not be able to clear it, or you will heavily struggle to the point where you're gonna have to be like a Genshin god to clear it. I don't think that's fair either. Because but also the only reason HoYoverse is able to keep doing it the way they're currently doing it is because they're making so much money from the people, like from whales. Imagine if whales didn't whale as hard. Then HoYoverse will have to build more incentive for people to whale, right? So in a way, I'm not saying you guys should go around kissing whales butt cheeks. I'm just saying, like, be happy that there are whales willing to spend money regardless of how difficult the game is, because without the whales you guys will probably be in a scenario where certain 5 stars will make or break certain types of content in the game, because HoYoverse would be forced to incentivize that to make money. I like Genshin the way it is right now. You can play with different teams. You can even purposely handicap yourself to make the game more difficult. Fair enough. It's here now is asking, what are your thoughts on Ayato now that Yellen is out? My thoughts on Ayato has not changed. He's a good unit. He gets the job done, but if you're comparing him to Yellen, he's quite restrictive in like how many roles he can fulfill, what he can do for you as a character on your roster. I don't think he's nearly as versatile or universal as someone like Yellen. I don't think there's going to be a character like Yellen until maybe like the Dendro Archon comes out. And Dendro Archon is probably not going to be like Yellen. I'm just saying, like, a character as game changing. But I'm very hesitant to use the term game changing. Like, this changes everything. But I do think Yellen will reshape the landscape a little bit for what's considered popular and what's considered meta, if that makes sense. Jason Leon says, Warriors, did you think Yellen is an actual power creep in Genshin? I've been getting that question a lot, actually. We might make a video on it. The short answer is no, but it's a little more complicated than that. It's a little more complicated than that, because while I don't think she is power creeping anything, there's one thing I don't like, is that I find HoYoverse too scared to release characters that changes the current status quo, if that makes any sense. Right? So I think Yellen definitely shakes up the hierarchy a little bit. While she doesn't, it's not like what happened with Venti and Kazuha, right? Like, Venti and Kazuha, that was an absolute one-sided slaughter. What happened to Venti? Like, Venti just got gutted after Kazuha came out. So Yellen currently provides a much needed role in the game, in that there are certain teams that just wouldn't exist without Yellen. In a way, I think it's good. Those teams aren't necessarily like meta teams. A lot of them are more niche teams, in fact. Yellen fixes certain issues that people had with Yoimiya. Yoimiya with Yellen feels much more comfortable than Yoimiya with Xingqiu. Mostly because like I've been saying, C0 Yoimiya lacks a little bit in the damage department, right? So I think having Yellen, she kind of comes in here, fixes a couple problems, offers a couple niche teams. So at the end of the day, she's a great character, but she does edge out Xingqiu a little bit. But Xingqiu is a 4-star. A moment, my thing's out of battery. She does edge out Xingqiu a little bit, and Xingqiu is a top tier unit. So if the fact that she's edging out Xingqiu a little bit, I don't know how to feel about that. Yeah, but I don't think she breaks the meta. I don't think she power creeps people. Hoyoverse made a very careful decision to make sure that Kazuha still outperforms in elemental teams. And that's what's important. Hana, what do you want? Come on. Come on, Hana. Come on. Hana. No? Good girl. Okay, 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 okay. My cat just went outside to protect her yard. Okay, okay, okay. Hello, Hana. Cat cam doko. I can't give a cat cam because for the most of the time they're like moving around, right? So it's difficult to give a cat cam. Hana's so small and cute. Yeah, she's tiny. I don't know why she's so tiny. Bunny Mooncakes is my cat is lost somewhere in the house. Average cat owning experience. Because we have 2 rooms here. This is like the office room. That's like the bedroom. So it's easy for them to go between the 2 rooms because we don't own the place. Have a roommate, so we keep the cats just in these 2 rooms. I guess 3 rooms can like if you include the bathroom. You could get a GoPro cam to put on their collars. Yeah, but that would steal all the thunder from my live stream. Nobody would watch me. Everybody would be watching the cat. Walrus, how do you not have white hair? I actually do. I dye them. I have a little bit of white hair. Like I have quite a bit on the side and the back, but I just dye them. Yeah. That's why I have black hair. I think that there should be an incentive for crowning characters investing lots of time into someone other than you can for fun, or 20 minutes of Abyss each month. Yeah, I think overall we shouldn't be too worried about over investing in characters because that's my motto right now. I think we're about to get to the point where vertically investing in characters is going to be the smarter move as opposed to continuing to get newer and newer characters. So overall, it'll be a smart move if you guys start fixating on a couple characters that you would want to be more impactful. Don't worry if you don't get rewarded for it immediately. I think it'll be much smarter to do it now than wait for the content to arrive, then rush to do it. And you guys have heard it from a lot of people. Like if Sumeru doesn't come with, I mean, not in 3.0, but through the duration between Sumeru and Fontaine, if they don't find a way to add more endgame content, a lot of people like veterans are really No, like no joke, they're probably just gonna quit and not come back. Jason Leon says, I think investing in a character, the first step is you must like the character. Don't need to care much about power if you don't like the character and might not use them in the future. There's another thing is that you have to also be careful of eventually getting bored of the character. I think investing in characters, your relationship with a character first and foremost must be their functionality within the game. That's why I keep saying versatile. It'll be much easier for you to like a character if you can see yourself using them in many different scenarios. Because as much as, like, okay, here's the thing, right? Do you like a character because of their outer appearance and their story and their stuff? Because if that's the case, hey, it's not me like taking jabs at people, but I'm just saying that's a very surface level, right? You gotta like a character for more than just how they look, how they dress, what their backstory is. Maybe they're voice actors, right? Even that's all surface stuff. But a little more in depth is like their utility, their kits. How does that operate? Do you like the way the animation flows? Do you like the way they interact with teams? How much value can they bring to your overall rosters? Do they make a lot of other characters more powerful? Do they make a lot more teams viable? And at the end of the day, everything combined together should end up, making a character more or less desirable. There's a reason why characters that are high in efficiency and power sells much better. It's just that as humans, or as a normal person, I guess, you would value power to a certain level, right? It's just human of us. You have to value their power to a degree. It has to be in the criteria somewhere. It might not weigh too much. You might they first have to pass this and this, let's say on the appearance scale and their characteristics before you look at their power. Sure, some people might put power at first. I don't care what you look. You can look like a sack of potatoes. But if you do damage, I guess I have a sack of potatoes in my team, right? Nobody cares. I mean, some people care. But that's what I'm saying is you cannot omit strength, functionality completely from the equation, because that'll directly affect how you interact with this character. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think a lot of the times mentioning how good a character is not just beneficial for the sales of the character, but it's also beneficial to the people looking and shopping around, being like, hey, all right, finally saved up 4 months of Primo Gems. Let's see who I'm going to waste it on now. It's really helpful to these people to give them an accurate depiction of what this character is capable of. Unbiasedness is important, but nobody can truly be unbiased. I try my best, all right? I try my best. I'm very critical of characters. Trust me, I am. Look at what I said about Ayato. Look at what I said about Yamiko. Look at what I say about Zhao, Ito, Raiden C0. Listen, people, if you guys don't get more subjective than Walrus, like amongst the community. Walrus is arguably the guy who's willing to take any backlash to say what he really thinks. Remember, right? You're talking to the guy who still ranks C0 Raiden at high A tier. Yeah, and we're not about to get into that argument here. All right, stop. I know some people are like, "Excuse me." Hey, chill. Hey, Control A, delete. All right, delete that comment before you send it. We're not about to get into that argument here and now. I'm just saying, people. I am a subjective person. I test these characters with very, very balanced resources. You guys, I dare you to find another person who balances out each character the way I do, right? I've never crowned a single character. I get them all to a similar level with the same amount of resin invested. I make it fair, right? I make it fair to test them. Some characters just require way too much investment. Guides never talk about this. It's not the same if, like, you have to equate this, because let's say if you require 6 months of artifact farming for a character for them to be, god tier, or another character which only requires you to farm artifacts for like 3 weeks, and they're only 80% as efficient as the one that, like, I would say there's some value to that. There is some value to that. I don't see enough people talking about it. They always say like, oh yeah, at peak potential, if you can get this artifact set with these stats, you're gonna be cruising. Like, well, yeah, but if I dump that into a lot of characters, I'd be cruising. If I dumped 6 months of artifact grinding into Barbara, she'd be cruising. Well, not as cruising, but she'll still be cruising. She'll be clapping cheeks. It's crazy to say like, oh, you know, to not mention that. It's crazy not to mention that, is what I'm basically saying. Like, because you know how I knew that? Because for me to make my Raiden Shogun work, like I keep seeing these people who like whose Raiden Shoguns are like doing the X amount of damage, and I look at it like, oh wow, no shit, right? Look at their artifacts. Each one of those artifacts could probably take you a month to farm, if you're like with average luck, to get one of those artifact sets. Like 34% crit damage, 27% crit damage. It's gonna take you a while with energy regen, right? With energy regen and crit rate. I'm just saying. They make it sound like it's a walk in the park. They make it sound like anyone who watches the video can walk away and have the exact same Raiden Shogun by the end of the week. That's cap. That's hard cap. That is... In fact, one can say that's cappity cap. But there are certain characters where, no, honestly, you can probably walk away from the video and get a similar effect. The Raika says, isn't a character only as good as what role you need to fill in your account and also your artifact drops quality? Yeah. Like, to a degree, you're right. That's as... Because you take Raiden in your team and you give her crap artifacts to try and make her succeed, she's not going to succeed. Part of what Raiden needs to succeed is damage. If you lose the damage aspect of Raiden Shogun, you lose too much. Technovirus says, just because it's a hard character to build does not make them lesser tier. That is illogical. Artifacts are based on RNG. It took me a month to build an amazing... No, you're missing the point, Techie. I'm saying Raiden Shogun to function at an optimal level will require a certain amount of stats. Right? A certain amount of stats is like the minimum requirement. And that barrier for entry is set so damn high, because not only do you need like 1800 attack, you need like 220 to 230 energy regen if you're running the catch. You need like 60% crit rate, and then on top of that, you probably want to hit 140 crit damage. Like, what other character demands? And then you look at Ayaka. Then look at Ayaka, right? What do you need? What do you need? You barely need anything. You don't even need crit rate, man. You don't need crit rate. Crit rate is already taken care of in the artifact set. The set gives it to you, right? You just need to stack crit damage and attack percentage. That's it. It's that simple. And then you run her in a double cryo freeze team. You're done. It's not the same, because the entry level, the barrier for entry is set so high that, yeah. Well, no crap. If I make sure, like, oh, well, I'm not going to run my Ayaka until I hit 2600 attack with, like, 305 crit damage, then my Ayaka is online. What? Of course it matters, because you're setting the entry level so damn high that if you set that same difficulty to make characters optimal, you're going to have much stronger characters across the board. If you do that for every character, all of them are going to be broken. Sure, Raiden's peak is hard because, yes, when you give her all that stuff, she's going to be hitting, like, a Caesar Raiden hits for 170,000 damage, and she's also supercharging your team, but it's 100-something thousand damage. Let's say another character can hit for 110, 120,000, but they're a 4-star. Right? It's... No, Technovirus, you're still missing the point. You're saying that you got it earlier. No, but what I'm saying is the barrier for entry is set too high. It's not about RNG. It's that barrier. It's the stat. You gotta hit those stats, right? And you're saying, yes, I hit it with better RNG. But what I'm saying is, the fact that you have to set that barrier entry, she has the highest barrier for entry. She's the highest barrier entry character in the entire game. Like, all other characters are arguably half as important when it comes to stat optimizations for all. Like, not only does she need energy regen, she needs attack, she needs crit rate, and she needs crit damage. She needs 4 optimized stats before you can say you have a functioning Raiden Shogun. What other character puts that much emphasis on all 4 of these stats, or all 4 of any stats? Like Kazuha, just stack EM, you're done, and maybe a little bit of energy regen. Do you really need a crazy amount of energy regen for Kazuha? No. For most characters, crit rate, crit damage. Or for Zhongli, HP, crit rate, crit damage. And it's not even that important for Zhongli. Like, for example, a character like Zhongli, another Archon, right? Like, I don't really ever see people saying like, oh no, I need to make sure my Zhongli has 170 crit, like 170 energy, or like, oh, my Zhongli needs to hit 180 crit damage and at least 70 crit rate. No, nobody talks about that. Like, Raiden is the only character people are literally busting out spreadsheets, being like, okay, if I change my artifact to this, then I'm losing like 3% crit rate and 2% crit damage, but I'm gaining back 15% energy regen, but I'm also losing about 30 attack. Oh no, like, is that going to be a damage yield or is it going to be a damage deficit? Like, what the... That's the only character in the game. Because the entry of barrier is so damn high. Because, and she's really popular, right? Because, yes, because... once you hit that threshold, she starts opening up really good. She starts performing very well. But when you're under that, there's so many people who has underperforming Raidens and they don't know it. They don't know it. They probably could run another character or another team entirely that functions better, but they don't know it. They think Raiden is the best character. They're just gonna slowly and keep working towards that perfect threshold.
Sussy Raiden dog just applied wet status. Damn, that's hot. I 100% agree. Shush is good but is overvalued.
Yeah, Raiden dog agrees. Says, I think there's too many people going too hard on Raiden. Technology, time to optimize does not make her lesser tier. Tier is based on how good their kit is, period. Well, I need to find a real life example to give you so you can understand. Here's an example. If you have 2 kids, they're both age 10, and you give one kid all the tools he needs to succeed, right? Private tutoring lessons, all the stuff you can think. You give them everything. And then you give them a test at the end of the year, and you gave kid number 1 everything they need. And kid number 2, you gave some, like, okay, you do give this, you give that, and then you compare them on a test, on an overall test, right? Playing the piano, doing physical, like playing basketball, doing all this. Of course, kid number 1 is going to outperform kid number 2. While you can say like, well, kid number 1 had more potential. Mathematically, I've worked out that kid number 1, if I invested to his full potential, he would have performed. That's fair. But if you gave the same amount of resources to kid number 2, the difference is not as big as people make it out to be. You know what I'm saying, Techie the Virus? We're talking about like in the extremes of like a 5-star and a 4-star. Let's say Raiden Shogun and an Amber. Yeah, the difference is going to be pretty damn big. Off the top of my head, maybe 30-40% easily difference, right? 30-40%. But if you're talking about other 5-star characters, suddenly that gap starts to shrink significantly. Take a character like Ayaka. Listen, Techie, if I put the same amount of resources into Raiden I did with Ayaka and her stats were optimized in the same way that I meticulously optimized Raiden Shogun, it's arguable that she's going to deal more damage. She's going to function at a much higher efficiency because I've given her that much. Right? Right, you see, Techie the Virus, you're getting the point, because you're getting the point now, but you're not understanding what I'm trying to say is you're saying Raiden is that because mathematically you guys are like theory crafters already worked out the final result if you do this, right? But what I'm saying is nobody really goes as hard to put in that amount of resource into another character to test them, because Raiden required you to keep pushing, right? And another thing, Techie, the resources I poured into Raiden, I could have poured into 2 other characters. 2 characters functioning at relatively high potential efficiencies versus 1 character. It gives me more versatility, gives me more options, right? And it's just hard to justify that. When a character is that expensive to not upkeep, but to reach their potential, it's hard to justify. There are characters like Bennett, still running the 4-piece noblesse set, needs energy regen, HP healing, done. Right? It's not comparable. Yeah, Zach is saying I could have built another full team with the amount of resin I spent on Raiden. It's about input and output. She requires too much input, and the output she gives out is arguable to the amount of input you have put in. Like, same example with the 2 kids. I could have raised 2-3 kids with the amount of money I raised that 1 kid. And now is that 1 kid going to end up generating, well, it's a bad example, we're using kids and we're talking about like generate and like giving back, but you know, is it going to benefit these kids? Is it going to benefit society more that I have 1 really smart kid or 3 relatively smart kids? And not dumb kids, right? 1 really smart or 3 relatively smart. But Walrus, that investment is worth it because she gives you one of the best teams in the game, Raiden National. Now, you're right. Raiden National is a very, very good game. I mean, a very, very good team. But this is a game we're talking about where there are a ton of very good teams, right? The argument would make sense. Techie, you're right. But the argument would stand if the game demands strong teams to clear content. But the game doesn't. That's why I don't rank her as high. Because I'm talking from a perspective of enjoyment, versatility, and having, you know, putting your resources and maximizing them to make sure that you have, you know, an overall easier time playing the game. Sure, you can heavily invest into Raiden. She can even be more cracked. She can have 75, 180, 2,200 attack with like 260 energy regen. You can get a Raiden like that. But at the end of the day, how much did it cost you to get that Raiden? How many more teams could you have built with that resource that you poured into that 1 character? Maybe like 2 teams for that Raiden I just said. There are too many options for you to choose from that are functioning at just as high efficiency with less resource invested than if you were to pour all that into a Raiden Shogun. Therefore, that's why I ranked her at A tier. Now, listen, this all changes when she goes to C2. All right? Once Raiden goes to C2, everything I just said goes out the window. Everything. Just take it, be like, right here, and yeah! Right out the window. Raiden at C2 solves some of the biggest problems. It requires far less emphasis on certain stats. You can get insane value from much less stats. Much less stats. There's the barrier of entry suddenly drops drastically, and she's still outperforming other characters even at C2. You take a C2 Hu Tao, what's she gonna do? Right? You take a C2, like even Ayaka. C2 Ayaka isn't going to compete with what Raiden C2 gives her. That's why Raiden C2 goes from like, Raiden C0 for me is like high, like she's probably one of the best A tier characters. But if you push her to C2, she suddenly becomes top 3 in the game. Top 3. Instantly. That's how important I think her C2 is. For anybody who wants to heavily invest in Raiden, if you're willing to dump, let's say 30,000 resin into Raiden, you better be ready to dump cash or like Primo Gems over the multiple rerun banners to get her to C2, because your yield will be monstrous. let's say you actually dump 30k resin on a C0 Raiden. Your Raiden Shogun might be sitting at 69, crit rate, 170 crit damage with 2100 attack and 265 energy regen. If you get that Raiden to C2, you will be rewarded handsomely for the resources you put, like double. Crazy. Crazy. I put those resources into Yanfei and she'll still be mediocre. Well, the thing is, Yanfei is a 4-star, right? Yanfei is a 4-star character. That's not even a fair comparison. You gotta take, like, you put it into someone like who's pretty mid tier, like Ayato. If you put the same amount of stats you put into Ayato, I swear to you, like the difference in clear time between an Ayato team and a Raiden national team won't be as far as you think. Sure, you might still give the edge to the national team, but if you gave it to an Ayato Taser team, you might end up clearing the room like what, 5-6 seconds slower. Like, an Ayato is a very mid character. If you chose someone like Ayaka, like if you actually put the resources into Ayaka and like cracked her the frick out and got her like crit damage to like what, 300%. Like, listen, if I poured the same resources I did into my Raiden, this is not my Raiden Shogun. If I probably poured close, like probably 30k resin into Raiden. If I poured that into Ayaka, she'd be really close to 300 crit damage with like much better optimized energy regen and all the other crap. Much, much better. This character can probably clear it faster than Raiden Shogun. I'm just saying. At C0. Because Raiden benefits a lot from her C2, while Ayaka, okay, yeah, she has a couple extra little blades coming out, but that's what I'm saying. I think people way overvalue Raiden Shogun. It's because of the hype factor. It's because, you get shit on if you don't. But I don't care if I get shit on, like, I really don't. I honestly don't feel like C0 Raiden is deserving of the spot that she has like 1 or 2 teams that she's really good at when built fully optimally. Whereas there are other characters in the game where you can build them suboptimally and still get very high yield function. And the difference between a Raiden National and one of those other crappy optimally built team is not as big. It's not like a 50% yield. It's like probably like a 10% yield difference. We need an ROI for each character. Yes, please give us an ROI percentage. If it's a percentage, it'll be much easier to understand. But the criteria needs to be very streamlined. Somebody DM any theory crafter. I would love to see it. I would love to see an ROI. Like for the amount you put in, what you get out. Who is the high? I will bet. Okay, I'm not a math guy, but I'm willing to bet that Ayaka, just general cryo characters, have the best ROIs in the entire game. Because of the artifacts. Because of artifacts, cryo characters are the best return on investments. Because they don't need to build crit rate. That's such a pain in the ass. Guys, how long do you grind artifacts? Because you need both crit rate and crit damage, and you need it to roll into both like kind of evenly, or one or the other. Whereas cryo characters omit that completely. They probably save thousands, if not tens of thousands of resin for people trying to build them. Even Chongyun. Chongyun, no, not so much anymore. Chongyun used to be really good. Not so much nowadays. Cryo characters are some of the most cracked in the game when it comes to ROI. Really good. Techie the Virus says, Walrus, the whole game is optimizing and building. I don't cut corners on any characters. And I believe you. It's just, I think you put a lot more into your Raiden than any other character. And is the yield the same? Right? Like, for example, I put probably like 4,000 resin into Ayaka. 4,000. And I put close to 30k for Raiden Shogun. Is the yield, is my Raiden really doing what is that? Like almost 10 times the difference? No. She's absolutely not. And Techie, this is a common theme. Yes, people may get lucky. Maybe you can spend literally like 500 resin on your Raiden Shogun, and you could be done. Perfectly done. Perfect artifact, everything. Got you. You could. But mathematically speaking, there's more people who ends up dropping a ton more resources on Raiden. And they fall into this loophole where it'd be like, it's not enough. Just a little more. Just a little more. Damn. Oh, the guide, right, the Zyok said, for this build, you want to aim for 260 energy regen. Well, I'm at 250. I just need 10 more percent of energy regen. How much more is that 10% energy regen going to eat at your resin? How much more? Right? Oh, like, okay, now I got this. Oh, damn, I can now get 260 energy regen, but I have to lose 5% of my, or like 7% of crit damage. Is that worth it? Who's going to tell you that now? Who's going to come and be like, well, it's worth it because blah, 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 work out the math. Because the guide video just told you, my Raiden is at 65, 145, 260. And your Raiden is at 65, 140 or 139 and 250. Right? There's too much emphasis put on these stats. Yes, they're important because it allows you to optimally rotate through all the abilities and supercharge your team, and because that's what the game is about, right? But there's too much emphasis put on that, and it ends up having people grinding for months just to optimize their stats fully. They're like, oh, finally, after 4 months of grinding, I have the most optimal Raiden Shogun, and it's like, yes, she's really good. Oh my god, you just start taking off. But for 4 months of grinding, was it worth what you got? Maybe you should have stopped at 2 months, right? Maybe you should have stopped a little earlier. Because the yield, like, this is what we talk about diminishing returns. For that extra little boost in stats to fully optimize your rotations through your team, you end up spending the amount of resources that you would have spent for like 2 other teams. That's what I'm saying. That is not worth. But a tier list should be best on best synergies and teams, not ROI. Yeah, but it's funny because listen, if right now somebody who just get into the game, let's say Raiden Shogun banner comes around, they build Raiden and they're like AR 40, they got Raiden Shogun. It will be months. If they're lucky, 3 months. It'll be lucky if in 3 months they can have a full functioning high tier Raiden national team. 3 months for a new player versus if they want to build an Ayaka team, a month, less than that, they'll be ready to go. Because in an Ayaka team, look, in a Raiden national team, not only does Raiden need to be top tier, your Xiangling cannot slack, right? Can your Xingqiu slack? Can your Bennett slack? Can any of these characters be half-ass build? My Diona is running on plus 12 artifact sets, people. And she's clapping cheeks in a freeze team. Right? I'm saying. Or my Kokomi. Oh, I wish I was on my account. My Kokomi's running like plus 16 artifacts. Can your Xiangling run plus 16 artifacts? Can your Xingqiu cheap out on these kind of stuff? It's not just Raiden. It's the whole damn team. It's the whole freaking team. Their whole team, ideally, you want to get them to level 80, right? If not level 90, fully kitted out. Like, of course, Raiden national team is going to be one of the best teams in the game. Like, how many other teams are fully functioning at, like, all level 90s? Like, I don't need to run full level 90 teams to clear Abyss. With exception to Raiden national. I don't even run Raiden national. I run Raiden hyper carry. And my Sara sitting at level 70. Right? Of course, the team's going to function so well because like all your characters are kitted out to the teeth. They're all cracked beyond belief. Each of them has like at least like 7,000 resins worth of artifacts. Where my main carry on my Ayaka freeze team doesn't even use as much as your Bennett does on your national team. So of course they're going to be function at a much higher proficiency because it demands it. The team demands it to function. right? And I'm willing to say a lot of the times, a lot of these comparisons are made unfairly because they didn't put as much effort into optimizing the other team's artifacts, because mathematically they already deemed it, oh, it's not worth it. I don't need to do that. I'm already at 75% efficiency. But there's a lot of things that I think people don't take into account, is that practicality matters. How you pilot the game versus how someone else pilot the game on an Android smartphone that's been overheating. Right? We're talking about the ideal scenario, perfect scenario. Everything is perfect, right? In the perfect conditions. People aren't perfect. Players aren't perfect. You might say, well, that's your fault. But if more people find it more difficult to achieve something, maybe that achievement is not the most optimal, but it's the most perfect. It's the most ideal, but not the most optimal. You see what I'm saying? People are somebody might have different thumb shapes than somebody else, which causes them to prefer a certain team. No, you might think I'm capping. You might think like, oh, Walrus, you're just drawing, like grasping at straws. No, but I work in sales, right? Do you think a house that is perfect for somebody is going to be a perfect house for someone else? No. Same for a car, right? So why would you say a team in a game that requires this much investment with these certain characters is going to be the best and most optimal team for everyone to play? It's not. Especially when the team costs so much. That's what nobody says. These people, they work with numbers. They're very good with stats and charts and algorithms and whatnot. But they fail to understand that people are different, and it takes a real human touch to the research to understand that point. And they don't care about it because numbers tells a hard truth, but it doesn't tell the whole truth. Again, it's back to the whole point about perspective. They're lacking perspective. They just think, I'm providing you the best. It's up to you, right? I'm providing you the best. It's up to you to meet all these criteria to access the best. Mathematically, they're right. But that's just one type of right. Nico says, doing account review, not got time for mine. Also, I've been farming for Raiden ever since her release, and I still feel like I need to improve. Raiden is a constantly improving character. You need to keep improving Raiden. You can never really say you have enough because her ceiling is so high. I guess that's one of the reasons why people get her. You can literally sit in her domain for a year and still say, probably can do a little better. Investment to get return on a character you like is what a late game player does. Different tier list than early game. Yeah, but I would argue that a lot of people like Raiden Shogun because of her potential, of her high damage potential. Not because like they like the character. Like, just watch. Once a new character that reaches a new ceiling comes out, Raiden will be dropped like a brick in the ocean. Because that's what I mean. They don't like the character because they like the character. They like the character because the character is strong. And she just happened to have boobs and pulls a sword out of them. Right? It's a strong combo. I'll give it to you. Okay, hey, take the loss there. When you can pull a freaking katana out of your boobs, you win. But most people are going after her because of her performance. Not because that's just the icing on the cake, my friend. Right? That's just the icing on the cake. But the real thing they're after is her damage. Waifu over meta should be it's not the right saying. It just so happens to be waifu is meta. Therefore, I'm going with this waifu. But watch, I'll guarantee it. Once Raiden falls out of the meta and some new person comes in to take her place, people will drop Raiden so quick. So quick. Granted, like Techie's saying, Archons are just built differently. They won't be phased out completely. You're absolutely right, unless your name is Venti. Unless your name is Venti, you got nothing to worry about. Venti, let's be honest, people. Like, let's be honest. Let's not pretend that Hoyoverse didn't shit the bed with Venti. All right? Let's just all agree that Venti was designed poorly. It's too broken. too good for what he does, and therefore causing Hoyoverse to redesign the whole landscape of mobs and enemies. Venti gone like the wind, yeah. Venti still has his place in events or domains. Yeah, Venti has nowadays become a niche unit. Venti is pretty much really, like, pretty good outside of the Abyss. No character is like Raiden. She is damage and support, all cohesive, and allows seamless rotations, very future-proof. Unless they start building the freaking high tide, low tide bullshit everywhere, right? Imagine that mechanic coming back in Abyss 12. The high tide, low tide BS come back in Abyss 12. I wonder how many Raiden teams there would be for that rotation. There are just certain things they can do to make it so freaking annoying to deal with. That's why I think initially a lot of people build teams horizontally, like have entirely different teams to combat different what's that thing called? The moons? The moon or something? Yeah, they just have a bunch of different options. But nowadays, however, seems to have gotten a better grasp for what they want to do in the Abyss. They just want to keep power scaling up the monsters with slightly different mechanics that you can overcome with maybe reactions, but put less emphasis on completely different like mechanics, right? They just want you to focus nowadays on reactions, certain 5-star characters. They found that's a better business model. That's what I have about 819 built for any challenges. Yeah, because that's what Hoyoverse conditioned us to do. That's what they conditioned us to do. But have you realized they stopped doing those kind of weird BS mechanics for a long time now, Techie? For like multiple Michi! Off! No. They haven't really put those really annoying mechanics in the Abyss. They've been very creative, and they've made sure to not disturb the mechanics of Abyss too much. Yeah, Abyss nowadays is just to sell new characters. That's absolutely true. So I think I've been clearing Abyss with the same 2 teams for the last 4 or 5 rotations. Mytham K is that one friend that everybody says congrats to, but like behind the back goes away to go punch a drywall. Mytham K says, bro, I got Ayaka in 10 pulls and Zhao in 10 pulls and Yellen in 50 pulls, and I want build pity, but I got Zhao again. Now Zhao C1. I started 1 month ago and free to play. I'm 42 adventure rank. What to do now? Probably save for Kazuha. No cap. If you find yourself too lucky pulling for characters, maybe save for Kazuha. This Abyss was so easy. Yeah, like Abyss nowadays, okay, have you guys realized some Abysses people say are really hard, but others say it's really easy? What's going on? It's because people are building different teams. Different teams have different advantages in different Abyss rotations. So you never get a universally difficult Abyss anymore. because HoYoverse is building abysses that that could be easily countered by, like I said earlier, certain reactions, certain element, right? If you have a Pyro Abyss Lector on floor 12, you're probably going to do well with a Hydro character. That's just facts. But let's say if somebody who's never built Hydro characters, they don't have Kokomi, they didn't build Xingqiu, they only have Barbara, they're gonna be like, oh my god, this Abyss is like it's a nightmare, and they have like 3 different Pyro teams. Probably gonna feel a little crappy to do that Abyss, to be honest with you guys. But if you built a ton, if you pulled Ayato, you got like Yellen, you also got Xingqiu cracked out, you used to run Barbara, and you got Tartaglia, like you're gonna feel fine. You're like, oh, what, this is like the easiest Abyss ever. It's about perspective again, because you build different teams and you feel like, and of course you would feel the Abyss Lector isn't a problem, but you run into the Hydro Lector, you're gonna be like, man, this is a freaking nightmare, bro. Like, Hydro teams running into the Hydro Lectors, like, my god, I don't have a proper team for this. But the good thing about building Hydro team is chances are you probably have a Cryo team. If you have Cryo, hey, you're pretty set, right? I'm waiting for the Cryo Lector. There has to be one day for a Cryo Lector to come up. But Cryo Lector just get clapped by Pyro, so it's like not that hard if you have Bennett. It's just how it is. You don't even need to hyper invest, just get crit or attack buffs in your Abyss and your half-built Raiden can slap. Yeah, but then people say like, oh my god, your Raiden sucks ass, bro. My free-to-play Raiden, my free-to-play Raiden was hitting for 3 million per auto attack, man. Bro, posting Abyss clears nowadays is like, you ain't even shit if you can't like clear the Abyss like 10 seconds per chamber. Like nobody even bats an eye. Like, oh, if you can clear each chamber in 10 seconds, people are like, not bad, not bad. You take like 30 seconds, they're like, I saw this other guy I saw this other guy who was like, playing with his feet while like, blindfolded. It was and he cleared it in like 27 seconds, bro, per chamber. Yeah, get good. You guys know why Abyss got nerfed? It's because of the amount of new players that's coming into the game. I'm not kidding when I tell you guys, like, I've been getting a crap ton of new players because I give very beginner friendly tips, right? They go, what the hell? I don't I don't I give very beginner, sorry, my headphone just went out, so I had to fix that. I give pretty beginner friendly tips, and I'm very like I have a very casual try hard mindset. You know what I say? Like, someone like Ziox is very catered to people who are up to date with the meta, right? Guide channels, they're very catered to people who let's say have a bunch of resources, they just don't know where to use it. But for beginners, they don't have access to any of these resources, but nobody is telling them what to do anymore because everybody is like moved on. So a ton of a ton of new beginning players are asking me like what to do now, what's best this, what's best that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's just what it is. If they've made Abyss hardcore, they're gonna alienate a huge portion of the community who are right now like on the fence about doing it. That's why, like, meta is cool for reference, but it's really not necessary in this game. There's no leaderboards. Okay, sure. If they made an Abyss leaderboard, meta will immediately shoot to the sky. Like, meta will be so important. Let's say, depending on the end of the season, you get rewarded based on your placement for clear time. Bro, hey, let's say like you get a free temple if you're in the top 10%. Watch people go crazy. Just watch people excessively obsessing, and people are going to be so much more mad because there's going to be people who get a perfect ride-in with like 1,000 resin, and they're here with 100,000 down the drain and hundreds of dollars, and their ride-in still looks like a sack of potatoes, right? Leaderboards provide competitiveness, but it also provides toxicity. And I think HoYoverse wanting Genshin to be casual is because they don't want to deal with that. Shukai says, all right, gonna go have lunch now. We'll try to catch a next stream. Yeah. For next stream, Shukai, maybe we can take a look at your account. In fact, we've been talking long enough. Let's take a look at this account. Let's take a look at this account. We're going overboard for the stream, but that's because it's always fun talking to you guys. Yeah, get the corniness out of the system. Oh my god. Maybe meta was the friends we made along the way. Techie Virus has got to go. Thanks for the discussion. Thank you, Techie. Like I always say, I value you so much because you're willing to stand your ground, argue your opinion, and at the end of the day, we can say, you know, good discussion. Thank you very much. Not gonna lie, you've changed my mind a couple times on some things. Round of applause to Techie. More people should be like Techie. Thanks, man. Have a good one. So this account, we've looked at it before. It's been a while since we've taken a look at it. Yellen, Yaimiko, Raiden, we took a look at it earlier. So this account, like, let's not beat around the bush here. Kazuha is gonna be very, very beneficial to this account, right? Very beneficial. Overall, they did end up picking up Yellen, and I'm really curious as to what you have in store for her, because you don't have Yoimiya, and I wonder if you're gonna pair her with Hu Tao. That's a question that I have. I think right now I see you having her in an Ayaka team, which, you know, really good, right? But then again, now with Ayaka, with her in Ayaka team, you don't have Kokomi, and you have Bennett in here. Listen, this might sound unorthodox. This might sound unorthodox, but Zhongli doesn't like being in freeze teams. Not that he doesn't like, it's that he's counterproductive in this team. I'm gonna suggest you run this team. Wait, you're missing a cryo. Where's your Diona? Actually, I was about to throw Xingqiu in there, but I was like, wait a minute. I suggest you run either this team or a Rosaria. Where's Rosaria? Or Ganyu. Wait, you have Ganyu. Wait, hold it. Run this team instead. The reason I say Zhongli and Cryo teams, freeze teams, don't gel very well is because for the most part, freeze teams have the enemy stationary. You're not taking much damage from freeze teams. So what ends up happening is you have Zhongli sitting there with his shield, which is only giving half efficiency, which is damage resistance shred, right? So that's why I say I almost never put Zhongli in a freeze team. It's just he's better used elsewhere. All right. So with that said, let's take a look at your Yellen and what you've done with her. 77, 227, 120. I did see you have her bow. I think the energy regen might be a little low. I don't know if 120 is enough. I've been seeing people say 140 feels good. Look at that. Look at that. Good stuff. Unfortunate with the defense, but overall pretty good. Solid. Okay. I mean, it's not like the most cracked out one you'll ever see, but what can I say? It's really looking really good. 568, nice. Probably see, the thing about these newer characters, like being tabulated, I think we're gonna see definitely the burst skill is gonna be number one. you see, between these two, it really depends. I want to say elemental skill, but at the end of the day, it's very important how you rotate through her skills. Her charge attack is pretty important as well. But I don't know, I'd probably still choose Lingering Lifeline just because it can affect more enemies on the field. You can do it on like 4 different enemies, whereas this one you can only hit 1. So probably Burst, Elemental skill, and then this one. Don't ignore this one though. Probably get it to level 5 like he has done here. Level this to 8 and then see if you want to keep pushing. I think 8, 8, 5. Probably, for the most part. Ayaka, 10, 10, 10. That's like a 36 to 68. Having double cryo would bring that to 50 and then another 40. That's 90. Yeah, 90 and 268. That's what this Ayaka is working off of. And let's take a look at the artifacts. Great. A little heavy on the crit rate. Probably don't need it that much, but hey, what can you do? Crit damage for Ayaka. I think energy regen is also pretty important. You want to cycle through her burst skill relatively quickly. This is a good piece. Wow, look at that. Cryo with crit damage, rolling triple crit damage, and a double attack roll. That's a really nice one. Crit damage, crit rate, attack, energy recharge. Yeah, these are really good. You can tell like this person has put in some work in Ayaka. The only thing I would say, like, it's unfortunate some of these rolled into crit rate and attack. It's not impossible to see Ayaka's getting close, like Ayaka main starting to hit close to 300 crit damage. You guys might thought I was memeing earlier when I said, oh, Ayaka 3, but yeah, like Ayaka reaching 300 crit damage is not that hard, because you know why? You can work with artifacts that don't even have crit rate. Like this artifact, let's say if this one set like some random, like anything, it's fine. As long as you can get a high crit damage one, Ayaka will be functioning at very high efficiency. Don't even worry about it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see your Ganyu. Let's see your Ganyu. Okay, Ganyu obviously not getting the nice treatment like Ayaka is. 925. I would really push this a little higher, but you know, it is what it is. C0. Artifact is the Wandering Troop. Look at that. Imagine this one on the Ayaka. See, you don't need crit rate. Like, you're not building crit rate on Ganyu. Well, because you run her in double cryo, unless you're running her in a freeze team. Freeze team. What am I saying? Unless you run her in a melt Ganyu team, you don't really need to stack too much crit rate. Even then, you don't need too much because of her passive talent. Okay. Like, yeah, for example, a cryo damage cup like this goblet for Ayaka could work if this is like 27, right? It's 27. You just 20% attack crit rate. Nice. Overall pretty nice. Oh, rip on the HP, but overall pretty nice. Bennett, we're not going to take a look at. Take a look at your Zhao. 159. You have to be... Wait. Wasn't it 159 just now? Wait, chat, am I seeing things? Was there a glitch in the Matrix? Wait, no. No. It was 21. When I saw it earlier, it was... Yeah. Look. Look, chat. There was a glitch. There was a glitch. It was 2159. Look. It glitched. Look. I'll go back. Look. I actually go to Zhao. Look. I'm on Zhao. And I click Artifact Details. Oh, no. That's because I was on the Artifacts tab. Oh, I'm stupid. Okay. All right. Pretend like you didn't see that. Nothing happened. Let's just continue. Let's just continue. 66,209. Nice. Very good. Very good. What the what the 35.7? Yo, why okay. Look at that. Man, this man's been putting in. This man's been putting in hard work. Yeah, I need that feather. Don't we all? Bad chest. I need that feather. We all need this feather. Did you crown him? No. 868. Okay. 76,237. Each of these characters are pretty well built. What am I doing? 28%. Excuse me? Okay. Okay. Lord of Sloth to say most I ever seen is 28 crit damage. This guy's be pumping out your absolute max on every single piece almost. Look, almost every single piece. The only reason this isn't 28% is because it started at a low base stat. Excuse me? What is that? What is that, chat? I think chat would be happy to have a single piece out of any of these artifacts. A single one. Now, drum roll, please. Is it triple crown? Drum roll. No. So, please explain why you don't have that for Ayaka. If you had those stats for Ayaka, you really will be close to 300% crit damage. Look at this. Onset physical damage with 26% crit damage. 237%. Crazy. But this person did say that he lives at domains. And remember, how many people watch my video? Even though I know a lot of you guys aren't beginners, how many of you watched my video yesterday? Say 5 mistakes beginners make. In that video, I specified veteran players makes a ton of mistakes, and one of the biggest mistakes veteran players make is they're not focusing on artifact domains enough. You guys might see something like this and be like, oh, he got extremely lucky. But Vashtosh himself says, the man lives in domains. Day in, day out. This is the result of months of hard work. Now, Vashtosh, don't go comment saying, like, slapping me across the face, saying, Walrus, actually, I've only been grinding for a month. Yeah. No, there's no way. I'd say this man has probably been grinding domains for the good part of a year. A lot of people don't want to commit the time. It's because it's a psychological barrier, because you're not getting short-term gains. You can easily be grinding for months and not get anything worthwhile. But really, once you get that one piece, just consider that one piece permanently done. Like, you're done with that piece. Just work on it slowly, people. It's not like somebody's holding a gun to your head. You just got to be able to have the mindset to say, it's okay if I don't get anything today, tomorrow, this month, next month. Once you can be okay with that, grinding artifacts could just be like a task, because it's something that everybody has to go through. If you play Genshin or any sort of these kind of gacha games that has these kind of combat systems, you're gonna have to farm it. There's no getting around it. You can't get around it, right? So just commit to it, be okay with it, and just go hard on it. And it'll yield amazing returns for you in the long run. Even if, let's say, you don't play a certain character anymore, you're gonna be probably still using the artifact. They are oftentimes more universal than the characters that you even have. Really, give it a try. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. Yes, it's pretty sad. All right, I'll admit it's pretty sad when you're in there for like 2 months and you really don't have anything to show for it. But just stay committed, my friend. Stay committed. 61, 161, 266. Man, there's a lot of sixes going on here. I can see, Vash. Are you trying to make the 69, 169, and 269 happen? I see you. We've been using Raiden Shogun. You've been trying to ride something else out here, Vash. I see you. A man of culture. Very nice, very nice. Look at these stats though. Wow. Not outperforming that Eula though. Not outperforming that Eula, but very impressive. So energy recharge with attack. The crit rate was 24%. No. 899. Wow, you really only crowned Ayaka. Really good Raiden. Needing 7.2% more crit rate, right? Needing 7.9% more crit damage, and needing 2.4% more energy recharge. Go for it, man. I know you can do it. 71.1 and 221. Do you have the Staff of Homa? No, it was a death match, wasn't it? Still running the Pyro, the Witch, Crimson Witch, which is good. Yeah, that's really good. Not running Elemental Mastery, Hu Tao. It is interesting. Some people really do. Look at this. Some people really do be running Elemental Mastery, Hu Tao. It's not the best, of course, but you know, it works. It works. Crit damage, crit rate, energy recharge. Overall, it's pretty good. I don't think we need to go too much further. I think the account is good. Like, this is a great demonstration of somebody who's taken a select few characters and built them up quite well. I think characters that could really use some time of investing to like push further, probably like Ayaka, like no cap. If your Ayaka had your Eula stats, she'd be such a consistent DPS, because remember, she's hitting for 90% crit rate. She's almost guaranteed to crit. 90% of the time, all her attacks will crit. So it's almost saying like you are permanently getting this. Like, this character's stats is almost permanently 268%. Just let that sink in for a second, people. This Ayaka functions at 90% crit rate with 268% crit damage. Imagine if it's like 280, 290. That means this character almost has 3 times the output. Casually, just pumping out 3 times the output for damage. Pretty good. Overall, I'd say need to try bring home Kazuha. It'll be such a waste to all these teams if you don't find a way to incorporate him into your team. Don't know. I'm not saying drop money, but let's see how many gems you have. There's a shot. Okay, you have a very good shot. Start saving. Hopefully you get close to 20k. Hopefully you get close to 20k by the time he drops, and you can bring him home. He's gonna be a nice addition to your team. You can run free-to-play weapons. You don't need the 5-star weapon. I don't even run the 5-star weapon. All right. So Walrus, who do you think I use my other aqua? Wait, you have 2? Oh shit. I forgot I was streaming. Crap. Oh, damn. For a second there I zoned out. I think that seeing the second boat took me out of it for a little while. Okay. Ganyu probably is the better user here. Ganyu definitely is going to use this bow better. Her elemental skills does scale off of her HP, so it does benefit a little bit. I'd say run it on Ganyu. This will take effect whether the character is on field or not. Really helps her with her burst skill as well. Really good character with a really good support bow for Ganyu. Myth and K, why crit rate and crit damage are important, and what crit rate and crit damage I am AR42 now. So, crit rate means critical rate, the chance of you to deal additional damage. Critical damage is the amount of additional damage you will do if you were to have a critical hit. So, to reiterate, critical rate is the chance to have a critical hit. Critical damage is how much more damage you will do if a critical hit happens. Ideally, you want your critical damage to be 2 times your critical rate. Example, if your critical rate is 50, your critical damage should be 100. Ideally, you want to push your critical rate to like 60, 65, and from that point, you start to hit a point where you get a little bit of diminishing returns, but you don't really get hit too hard. So ideally, getting 65 crit rate, and then you can start scaling your crit damage beyond the 1-to-2 ratio, meaning you don't need to park it at 130. You can start hitting for 160, 170. And if you can push your crit rate to like 75, then you can look towards that 200 mark. All right? EroticWalruss, do you think we should get a critical hit indication? I think it needs to be clear. I want it to have a little crit, like I want it to have the words crit or much more clear indications. Now we can see if a hit critted or not, but it's not as clear. Anna, what are you doing? Oh, why are you so cute? I wish I can show you her face, but I can't. I can't move my camera. Yellow hits versus white. Yellow text versus white text for critical hits will be nice. I think over the years, they're going to put in better game optimization, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah. I want a place that we could test damage. There's a samurai in Inazuma where you can just challenge him and test damage and rotations and stuff. I know what you mean though. You want a permanent like feature where you can just endlessly test damage output. Like set a timer for 1 minute, do like all your rotations and see how much damage you did. Who did the most damage? Yeah, I know what you mean. Like a meter of some sort. Like at the end, you can end the test and see Raiden did however much damage. This person did however much damage. Right? Who contributed to what? Or even just a crit hit damage sound. Yeah, that'd be sweet. That'd be very satisfying. I don't like, as you guys can see, I don't play with sounds. Often, a lot of the times, because I also record videos, I do live streams, and when I talk like this, it's just a stream of consciousness. If I get interrupted by them talking or music that catches my attention, I lose my train of thought. Empoleon Gaming says, "Evening, Walrus and fam. I'm sorry, Empoleon, we're just about to end stream." We did go on for an extra 40 minutes today, though. Maybe an outline on the text. I think we can write that into the... I think we can write that into the survey, right? I don't know how much it's going to help, though. I turn sound off too. Just do daily grind and listen to some videos. Yeah, I have like videos on the side all the time. I have like TED Talks on the side. Sometimes I have movie recaps. Empoleon Gaming says, "I just woke up." Oh, Hannah, you're back. Good girl. Ooh. Yeah, but yeah, we're towards the end of our stream here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I would love to have you guys back on Saturday. We're doing the Zhao and Yellen giveaway. Zhao or Yellen, I should say. You get the winner gets to choose. Walrus turned into Mickey Mouse for a second. I swear, whenever I do the voice of the chat, I turn into Mickey Mouse. Like, oh hi guys, what's up? Oh, my Raiden Shogun does so much damage. Zach says the problem is that there's no competitors. If other games come out with good quality of life features, it will make Genshin implement more. But now there's no need for them to waste resources. You're right. You're right. Lucifer Morningstar says how to enter the giveaway. Just be here on Saturday. Be subscribed. Like video. Maybe follow my Twitter. Join my Discord. But yeah, just be here. Be subscribed. All right. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Until then, urge y'all to stay safe and peace. Bye bye.